CTV family, catch us live on your TV screens.
Man, welcome back to the biggest, the baddest,
And
the
the
most
most
hip
hip
and
and
happening
happening
show in the motherland.
Lindsay.
So watching Ekse live right here on Cape Town TV,
Yeah.
the People's Channel. Do follow us on Twitter.
Yes, that's Ekse_live on Twitter as well as on Instagram as well as on Facebook. It is Ekse Live. But the most important thing is that you guys must stay connected with us on WhatsApp because we want to hear your voice notes. Send messages. It is 074-650-0202. I'll say it again just because I speak so fast sometimes. 074-650-0202.
And that number to dial 021-448-0448. Yes, you are a kind girl.
Yes.
Ekse at capetowntv.org is where you should email us. Today I'm so stoked.
Why?
Because
Yes.
this interview,
Yes.
oh my God, I've been wanting to have it for the past 75 years.
And then she's been saying no.
No, she's way too busy. She
Okay.
goes around. She's a global trotter. You know, you've got motivational speakers and
yes.
you've got a global speaker.
Yes.
And she comes in the form of Sibulele Sibaca. Miss Sibu to you.
Yes, Ms. Sibu, thank you so much for joining us and
Thank you
welcome
guys
to the
for
show.
having me.
First and foremost, as you said, Siyabonga ukuthi usinike isikhathi. Usually in London, you're doing a lot of things.
I am doing quite a bit. Just a
Just a little bit. Just a little bit, not
and
too
it
much.
makes me incredibly busy, yes.
A little secret.
Yes.
We grew up. She's cousins to my best friend, Sibangaka Gui, and yo,
Yeah.
yeah, tend to shout yourself. So yeah.
No, I'm just a stickler for the rules, you know?
Okay.
There's no gray area with me. Something's the right or
It's
it's
a
wrong.
wrong, yeah.
It's either you decide to conform or you don't. By the way, you have a choice.
Yeah.
And so they
She's
know.
like, I'm going to place the law where it needs
No,
to stand.
growing up under me, they knew. Just do the right thing, man. Just minus the drama.
I love
Yeah,
that.
I think the confident llama today. I've always been a confident child,
Yeah.
but she put on the spice. Dish,
Yeah.
put a
Yeah.
cherry on top, and I'm
Yeah.
so thankful to you for
I'm
that.
so happy to see you here. You know, I think a lot of the time when you work with various, young people from all walks of life, it's always so amazing to see the young people you worked with from back home. Because
Yeah.
you know what they say, right? Charity begins at home. And
yeah.
I think I also got to understand and love what I do because I didn't even work with you guys.
Yeah.
I think I chiseled my passion with you guys.
Yeah.
I figured out that this is what I wanted to do with you guys.
Yeah.
And from that point on, I realized, and I mean, it was very early on in my life, I realized that this is what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
Now, how do I turn my passion and my purpose into profit? And
Yes.
basically, that's where I'm at.
And speaking of what you do, someone's like, okay, what does she do? Because you guys have been saying she does a lot. Man, she's a youth activist.
Yes.
She's an entrepreneur.
Yes.
She's a global speaker. So
Yes.
if you were to sum yourself in a sentence to be like, okay, this is the core of who I am, what would you say?
I'm a social entrepreneur.
Okay.
I'm a social activist. I create social spaces where young people, especially adolescent girls and young women, can live out their best life. That's basically who I am and what I do.
Tell us more about the organization, Sibs.
So Impact Drivers is a youth organization for adolescent girls and young women
Yeah.
between the ages of 15 and 24, and we look at the holistic approach of a young woman. We talk all things sexual reproductive health and rights, all
Yeah.
the things that people don't want to talk about, because
Yeah.
by the way, I just read a statistic yesterday that says over 12,000 girls between the age of 15
Yeah.
and 19 gave birth between April and November 2020.
No.
And parents still don't want us to talk to their kids. And
Yeah.
I'm just like,
Ma'am.
hello,
Yeah.
I'm here to,
Like,
anyway,
yeah.
so that's part of what the organization does. But we realize that girls and young women want to be a part of the economic structure. They want to make money.
Yes.
And they want to contribute positively to their communities. How do we empower them to do exactly that? And really, what we've figured out is entrepreneurship is key, education is key, and just allowing them spaces for them to thrive and be their best selves, like I said earlier. So that is what the organization does. We have mentorship and coaching. We've got access to education and
Yeah.
bursaries. We create entrepreneurs by giving them some seed money to start their business. So that we do quite a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And why are these spaces actually important? Because most people are saying, okay, people have knowledge and people have an understanding understanding of what's happening in our country. So why are people like you who are bridging the gap between the knowledge and actually doing the things so important now?
It's very important because young people want to be active, they want to give back, and they want to make a difference. But like you said, they just don't know how, and they don't know where to go. And even though government could be playing their part and doing what they need to do, still access is a problem, right? So and so that's a big part for us. It's to create these wonderful programs that are up here, but bring them to the people, and that's what we're about.
Love
And
that.
you are there for girl power, women
Yes.
empowerment. So
Yes.
if there's any change, if any, with gender equality in your life and work, have you seen?
Look, I think we've made great strides in that space,
Yeah.
in gender equity and and inequality. I think we've made great strides. We can't say nothing has happened. But we can do so much more. Unfortunately, we still live in a very patriarchal society.
Yes.
And a lot of abuse has been hidden behind the patriarchal system we live in, as well as cultural and traditional norms.
Yeah.
And it's seen to be normal, it's okay, and there are many things we still have to break down. And really, I suppose, you see, this thing is a double-edged sword. And I say this because on the one hand, you want to empower girls and young women, but on the other hand, you're just like, who are you empowering them for? If you are not going to focus on the adolescent boy and young man. You know, so you're just like, okay, well, I see girl power, you guys are doing amazing things, you know, we're going to have confident girls 20 years from now.
And then,
but men are struggling. Boys and young men are going through a lot. If we're breaking down patriarchal situations and norms for the girl child, we ought to be doing it for the man child, for the boy child. And along the lines, it's okay to cry. You are still strong. You know what I mean? So there's a lot that we still need to work on, and you can't work on it in isolation.
I love that you said that. There's just two sides of the ship, and you have to work on both.
Absolutely.
Now, speaking of two sides of the ship, there's a very big problem, which is pay gap when it comes to women and men. Child, what would you say is a way moving forward? Because I mean, it's been happening for quite some time, and we still see it happening right now. Like we could be, you and Lama could be in the same position, same job. Lama could be getting 20K more than you. In that form, how can we address that issue to make sure that the pay gap is addressed to some degree?
Look, I think there's a huge responsibility that's put on women who are in positions of power. We rely on those women to help us kick the door open if we have to. I mean, forget about opening the door politely. We don't have time
like
for that.
Kick it.
Like
Kick the door if you must.
Yeah.
Then we want the men in the room to allow us to sit on top of the table if there's no space around the table. For us to start having those conversations. I don't know whose idea it was that physiologically, physically, you and I can't do the same thing. You know, and so we've got to, the same person, it means that there was somebody who decided that. There needs to be somebody to undecide that.
I bet you it was a man.
Obviously.
Million dollar answer.
We can bet my arm.
But why do we need more women in leadership?
You know, we need more women in leadership because they've got to show us that it's possible. And the more women that do it, that show us the possibility, the better it is for women coming up. There is a huge responsibility on those women in leadership. So to whom much is given, much is expected. And so even when you do find yourself as a woman in leadership, you've got to do your part. And it's hard. It's so hard because on the one hand, you're expected to be the savior of all women in that generation. Then on the one hand, you've got to do your job, the one you've been employed to do. Then you also have to fight patriarchy in the,
That's
a lot.
You know?
Speaking of a lot, Sibulele Sibaca has addressed the likes of Bill Clinton, Nelson Mandela, Alicia Keys, Bono, the list goes on, and today she's addressing you and I, and you do not want to miss a beat. We're going to a quick break. When we return, we talk everything hair.
Oh, darling.
CTV family.